Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be a first impressions and demo of the Rephr brushes that I just got. So the brushes that I have are the 12, I'll show you guys. Well, I'll go through them as I kind of like review them and use them. But they're the 12, 13, 14, 15, and the 24, which is the kind of like, I think they consider this a bronzer brush. It's supposed to be like kind of similar to the Tom Ford bronzer brush, which I don't have, but I've heard, you know, so many amazing things. And I'm going to try to do an eye look with these brushes and then use this with a cream blush, see how that comes out. So I have not washed these or tried them or anything. I'm going to try them for the first time on camera, so please excuse if things, you know, don't come out quite right. I sometimes take a few tries to really get the hang of certain brushes, and I'll give you guys kind of like my first impressions so far. These do not feel like any other brand. I thought they would be, you know, maybe similar to my Wayne Goss or Hakuhodo or something, because they're made in Kumano, and possibly the same producers are making Rephr brushes. I don't exactly know. If you guys know exactly where Rephr brushes are produced, like who the manufacturer is, let me know, but I actually don't know. And I thought when I looked at them, they kind of are reminiscent of Hakuhodo and Wayne Goss because of the taper, and some of these remind me of some of my Hakuhodo brushes, and I'll go over that right now. Actually, real quick, my brushes came very fast. I think I ordered them like on a Monday, and they were here on Friday, maybe Tuesday, and it arrived Friday, but very fast. I believe these do not come from Japan though. They are sent from a warehouse in New York. At least that was where the return address was from. So they must have a warehouse there and then ship them out in the US from their New York location. Okay, so I'll go over each one and kind of give you guys an idea of what they're like, what they feel like. So we'll start off with the number 12. So this is like it's an eye brush, but it's like it's kind of short and it's stubby. It's really not a shape that I use, and I'm trying to think if I were to use it for the eyes, probably like liner or really like darkening up an area. But because it's so short and because the end is so broad, I just don't think it's specific enough for lining. So I'm gonna actually use this to put some like concealer, like you know, like an eyeshadow base with this, see how it comes out. It could also be good, I think, for like spot correcting, which is I do sometimes, so I'll try it a little bit for that. But as far as eyes, I'm really not sure how to use this type of brush, so I'm going to try this for concealer. The next one is the 13, and this is a small little blending brush. This actually really reminds me of the Hakuhodo J5529, which is right here. So mine has been used a lot, but you can see it's very similar in shape. So these Rephr brushes I heard will really bloom after you wash it, but I believe it's the same exact length, similar density, except the but it's very similar to the J5529. And then the 14, it is very reminiscent of the Wayne Goss 19, very similar looking. I think the identical length, the ferrule looks about the same size and the same width, and density feels pretty similar. Just the Wayne Goss is just a little fluffier, but I don't know, it's just because I've used this one so much. And then the 15. This is probably like the Wayne Goss 17, but the one that I have that is closest to this one is the Wayne Goss 16. Oh, there it is. It's 30, but similar length, and I think the 16 is a little bit wider as far as the ferrule is, but they're both round, and I do feel like this is going to fluff up and look a little bit more like the 16, but the 17 is slightly smaller than this one, so this one is probably a tad bit smaller than the Wayne Goss 16. So I'm going to use this like as my transition brush. And then the reason I put this order in is the 24 is on sale for $35, which is an amazing deal. This doesn't really remind me of much except for my Hakuhodo B110. That is much fluffier, and I'm pretty sure these bristles are longer, and the Hakuhodo is much softer, but I haven't washed this one yet, so I'm hoping this one does change, because it feels kind of stiff right now. But the one that it reminds me most of is the B110 from Hakuhodo. So because it's not really fluffy, I'm going to try it with my cream blush and see how that works out. Okay, so first I am going to use the 12 to put some of this concealer on my eyelids, see how that works. So like that. So that really kind of like heavily places the concealer on. This is a like a pot concealer that I've been testing out from NARS. Their soft matte concealer, which I think is good for priming for your eyeshadow. So I think that came out pretty well. And I'm going to use my Viseart Apricotine Petite Pro. This is my very reliable palette, and I wanted to use a palette that I was comfortable with, that I knew would come out good. So I'm hoping this will come out good. So I'm going to use the lighter matte shade. So this one's not as fluffy as I was hoping it would be. And I think just considering what I have, this is probably going to be used as a concealer brush, just because my other blending brushes I prefer. This to me is just a little too firm and too dense to be doing my transition shade. I prefer a fluffier brush, but it worked out fine so far. Now I'm going to try the 14, which is similar to the Wayne Goss 19. I'm going to get this darker shade. Darken up this area. Oh, and I also got the Eyelash Curler, which I did try yesterday, and it's great. It's not like the other ones I have. I was really due for a new eyelash curler. And the last time I bought one was like 10 years ago or something. And if you do order from Rephr, they do like a free 3 extra eyelash curler pads, and you have to opt to get that. They don't automatically put it in your basket, and I forgot to do that, so I missed out, but it's okay. I think other brands will probably work. All right, and then I'm gonna do a little bit more. And then, you know what, I'm probably gonna have to, I'm not sure how I'm gonna put the shimmer on. I'm just gonna have to use this, I think, for my shimmer. See how these work too. I'm gonna zoom in. I don't want to keep it zoomed in because I always forget to zoom out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I really like the way it applied the shimmer. It's not like a super strong application, but it's very specific, so it didn't go anywhere that I didn't want it to go. All right, now I'm gonna try this lighter shimmer, which I usually put in the inner part. I'm gonna dust off if I have any. I'm not sure if I have any fallout. It's hot again, so it's just kind of humid too, so I'm like kind of sweating. So that kind of makes my makeup a little harder to do. And then I'm gonna use this little 13 again to add a little depth to the outer part of my eye with this darker shimmer. And I think this will work for the lower lash line. Rephr also has a series of pencil brushes that I've heard are really good. I just, I really don't need any pencil brushes. I have about 3 or 4 that I'm very happy with. Okay, so it comes out okay. I really think I need to wash these brushes to get a real good idea of how they perform, because so far they're all very stiff. They just don't give the way I prefer them to blend out. I'll try to show you guys what I mean. So like this is the Hakuhodo J5529. So if I were to like darken up this area, this one, like, it just moves better. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm able to like blend a bigger area with this one. So I'm hoping after I wash those Rephr brushes, they will really like soften up and become a little more comfortable to use. I think it's not bad. I do prefer, you know, a flatter brush to do shimmers, you know, something like this. All right, and then I'm gonna try the eyelash curler for you guys. So what I like about this one in comparison to the other ones I have, and the other ones I have are Shiseido Shu Uemura, which I don't think they make anymore, and the Sephora brand. I'm not very particular, but this one, it opens up a lot. So when you do this, like everything gets in there. The other one sometimes I feel like doesn't grab all of my lashes, but this one definitely does. And it doesn't take a lot of pressure, but I'm thinking that's because this is new. And I don't feel like I have to squeeze as hard. See how that already really curled my lashes? And there's no pinching. I didn't pinch any of my skin or anything. All right, I'm back. I did my mascara off camera, and I did a little more shadow on the lower lash line. And what I've found, I tried the 13 and the 14, so the smallest, shortest blending brush, and the slightly longer. So this one is not, it's not firm enough. It's a little too flexible for lower lash line. For me, if I were to use these for lower lash line, the 13 would be the best, but I still prefer the other ones I talk about, the Chikuhodo Artist and the Sonergy Builder 3, or any of my pencil brushes. I do prefer for the lower lash line over any of these Rephr brushes. And I can't really give a, you know, accurate opinion on these because they're not washed. Just first impressions, this is my completely honest opinion. They don't feel as luxe as my Wayne Goss and my Hakuhodo or Chikuhodo. They feel like they just feel like harder and stiffer, but I'm hoping it really changes after I wash them. I just don't remember any of my like Hakuhodo Sonergies feeling like this when I got them. So that's just a first impression. I'll give you guys a follow-up after I've used this more and washed them more. But of all of them, if you guys are like maybe wanting to try one of their eye brushes, I think the 13 is probably going to be my most used of the eye brushes, just because it's you know, it's a small little blending brush. It will soften up as I wash it, and I think it'll be really good as like to darken up this area, and maybe even, you know, kind of darken up this little area and a little bit lower lash line if I want like a light shadow application there. I think this will probably be my most used of the eye brushes, and I think this one, the 12, is going to be my least used. I will try it for spot concealing, but I just don't need another really spot concealing brush. I have a few that work really great, but I'm going to try it for that and see how it compares, and I'll give you guys a follow-up to this. But this one is the least impressive. It just, it doesn't really feel especially soft, and I just don't think it's supposed to. But the size, I think it's just too big for my eyes to really line, and it doesn't have enough flexibility to blend. But I know a lot of people do like this shape, if you guys can see, and I just don't have a lot of use for it. All right, I'm back. I'm going to use now the 24, and this is the whole reason I put this order in. I've been very resistant to trying Rephr for many reasons, but I just could not resist this brush for $35, and so far I'm very impressed. It's very dense. There's a lot of hairs in here, and it's a very useful shape and size, and I've heard that it will bloom and fluff up after I wash it. But I always like trying my brushes at least once or twice before I wash them, just so I can give you guys some feedback and so I can know for myself exactly how the brushes change. And I'm very very amazed with how these brushes transform as you wash and use them. Anyhow, I'm going to use this Milk Makeup little mini cream blush I have not used for a very long time. I'm just gonna kind of like get a little on there and try to put some of that on. And then I'm going to use the other side to do powder blush too. So I really like the way this applied the cream blush. Just put a little more. Yeah, I really like the way this you know, it's a perfect amount. It's not like a heavy concentrated application, but it's not imperceivable either. It's just right. You know, it would be kind of hard to mess up your cream blush with this, I think. So I think this is a really great beginner's brush if you're just starting out using brushes for cream products. Now let me try it with I'm going to use this Laura Mercier Bellini powder blush. I'm going to use this other side. This is a very subtle blush color for me, so this one's kind of hard to mess up. I'm going to kind of like pat it on. I like mixing like a pink blush with a peach color because it kind of gives like a really nice peachy pink kind of fleshed color. So that actually really applied nicely. So when I did this, it really like mattified that area, which is to be expected. This is a very matte blush. Just so I can show you guys something, I'm going to use this Bisotto brush, which I really like. It's their rounded cheek highlight brush, and I'm going to put a little bit on like this. And I'm hoping you guys can see how this brush kind of almost like buffs that part of your skin and makes it look a little less matte. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very subtle, but I've been using this to kind of, like if I think my blush is a little too flat, I'll use this to apply a powder, and it kind of like brings it to life a little, just ever so slightly. I'm not sure if you guys can really see it. I hope you can, but it's more of a natural finish now. It's not super matte like it was before. So I really like this this brush for powder blush. It kind of gives it like a little bit of a glow, and if you have a shimmery blush, it really shows. It really brings out that sheen in your powder blush. So I just wanted to show you guys the contrast between using a brush like this versus this. This is also goat hair, but it's dyed, and it feels borderline like squirrel hair. It's so soft, and the same for this one. I haven't used it since I've washed it, but I'm just so impressed with the Bisotto dyed goat hair. This is their premium line, and I'm like, I want to get them all, but they're so luxurious, and I love the way they look. They are a pretty thicker handle, so it does take up more space, but they're just a very beautiful, elegant looking brushes. All right, now I think that's gonna be it, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts and a really quick comparison to some of my other favorite eye brushes. So I'm gonna just to pick one out, the 15, which is their larger blending brush that I got. I am gonna compare it just as far as like how they feel. I'm gonna compare it to the Hakuhodo, the Wayne Goss, and the Sonia G. So just by feeling them, the Sonia G is the silkiest, and if I had to compare Rephr, the hairs, to another brush, it feels most similar to the Wayne Goss, but not quite. They don't feel exactly like any other brand that I have. They're just surprisingly stiff. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think a lot of people do like their blending brushes to be a lot stiffer. I know Sonia G's blending brushes tend to be like that, and this one is too, and I love this brush, the Worker Pro. They just tend to be a little bit more specific. and that's when I use this brush. When I want my shadow to be a little bit stronger, the pigment to be a little bit stronger, I use this brush. Oh, that was my dog. He's sick. Anyhow, I don't have a lot of her eye brushes just because I really favor my Hakuhodo and Wayne Goss. But yeah, it doesn't feel like the Sonoji hairs. I can't really put my finger on where I think these hairs come from. It could be Koyudo, or I'm not sure. But I know Rephr, that I can't imagine them having an actual manufacturing plant. I think they just design the brushes and they have a brush maker make them. One really great thing that I appreciate from Rephr is they have the number really clearly on all the brushes, and it looks like this is going to stay there. The Hakuhodo ones come off. I have to put clear nail polish. And the handles are very similar to the Chikuhodo Takumi series. Almost like identical. So maybe this is the same brush maker. Maybe it's a Chikuhodo brush, but that's what this is. Like a matte black, and it also has that like imperceivable ferrule like this. I mean, they have to have, the bristles have to be held together by something. Even though this doesn't really look like a ferrule, there is a little space here where the ferrule and the handle meet. So that's what you can expect from a Rephr brush. I think just so far, I'm more impressed with the face brush more so than the eye brushes. And if you can get this while it's on sale for $35, this is a really great deal. You know, Hakuhodo, you'll be paying well over $50 for a brush like this. I think the S110 or the J110 is, I think it's 52 or 54. So you're getting it for much less. And I know that this is going to get even better when it's washed. So let me think, did I forget anything? I think I mentioned the shipment came very fast. It came in this nice box. There wasn't like excessive packaging, which I appreciate. And the curler came in this nice little bag. I'm not going to keep any of this. I just have too many of these at this point. But I am very, very impressed with the eyelash curler. The concept store is on sale for $16, and I think when it goes full price, it's like going to be $20 or $22. But I really do like this one. I like it better than all of the other ones I have. Although those are ancient, I don't know if it's just because it's new, it's just so much better. But I will continue to use this, and if I do put another Rephr order, I will order more of these pads, because I was kind of looking at the other ones. The pad on this one is a lot harder than the other ones I have. So that might be part of what makes this one so good at curling. And I don't have to really squeeze a whole lot. It's just, it's a very efficient eyelash curler. And it opens up more than my other ones. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is Shu Uemura. See how much more it opens? I mean, it doesn't look like a lot but when I'm doing my lashes, I can really tell. So I'm really liking this, and I will give you guys some feedback after these brushes are washed and used a little bit more. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye.